Hey, it's me.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Hello and welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you very much.
So, the man we're sitting down with is Brad Upton. He is a stand up comedian. He's performed internationally. He's one of those rare comics that you could say he appeals to everyone from 18 to 80. And there's a clip on the Dry Bar Comedy Channel, two of them actually. One of them has 70 million views, another one has 40 million, and it's been called the most viewed stand up video ever.
Shocking. No one more shocked than me. Because this has all been since June, since these things got posted. They put that one on, the first one on, and it got 12 million views in 2 days and 33 million in about 10 days. So immediately, a week later, they posted another one, and it went crazy too. Not as much as that first one did, but no one more shocked than me. I was just like, what is going on? Because the one that has 70 million, personally, I think the one that has 40 million views is way better than the one that has 70 million. But who knows? It's like a real virus. Who knows why it gets or how it gets passed around? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's been an eye-opening experience.
What are you finding that this modern age, on the car ride over? By the way, I should tell everybody, I picked him up from the airport, which that was a first.
That was nice too, man. I didn't think you meant it when you first offered. I was like, does he really want to come pick me up at the airport? That was very nice. Thank you.
Well, my pleasure. So, I'm curious. When you have that kind of exposure overnight, uh, what's that like? I mean, we were saying in the car as I was mentioning, uh, that would be the YouTube and these different online sites. It's like the equivalent of being discovered on Carson.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what it's like. I think those numbers. Somebody told me if you're on America's Got Talent, 6 million people see you. Guy the other day, a comedian said, "That's like doing 10 appearances on America's Got Talent." I was like, "Wow, it's just shocking when he said it like that." Um, but it is weird. I mean, that much exposure all of a sudden. I have a Brad Upton fan page on Facebook, and I really never did much with it. I kind of ignored it. I wasn't very active with it. It seemed like a pain in the ass, and I had 300 fans,
Mm.
but I didn't really push it. All of a sudden, in 6 months, I've got over 16,000 fans on there.
Wow.
And now there's a big push. People say, you got to create content. You got to create content. I go, really? Do people want to see me that much? I don't know, but that's what everybody keeps telling me. They say, you got to post stuff on your Instagram. You got to post stuff on your Facebook page and your fan page. I'm like, okay, I guess. But it seems annoying to me. I don't know.
Well, tell us about some of your influences. Who are the comedians that always made you laugh the most?
Well, when I was in like high school, when I was, just watching comedy on the Tonight Show and stuff, there was Robert Klein and David Steinberg and George Carlin, of course, and some of those guys that were back in the early 70s, the guys that were on, because there really wasn't much comedy as far as comedians were either famous or non-existent, I guess, back in that time. And I loved watching those guys just come out and talk. And those are the guys, Robert Klein and David Steinberg, I always look forward to. Pete Barbuti, I don't know if you know who that is, always made me laugh. And then some of the old school guys, really old school guys like Jonathan Winters and George Gobel and some of those guys. I noticed how much my dad enjoyed those guys. So that's how I got interested in those guys too. But those are some of the guys from back in that era.
What is the best thing about what you do?
That I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I mean, how many people get to live their dream, really? I mean, how many people, when I first started, I thought, man, if I could get on TV and go headline these comedy clubs that are around the country, that would be amazing. And I quit teaching school, and I've been doing it ever since. I've told people, and even more so now than ever, I feel like I won the lottery. For 32 years, I've been doing exactly what I wanted to do. And you can complain about stuff, but not for very much. You know what I mean? I'm doing exactly what I want to do.
Hmm.
That's all I ever wanted to do. I never wanted to turn into a TV star, a movie star, or write movies or something like that. A lot of comedians do that. All I ever wanted to do was stand up.
Who have you met as a result of doing stand up that when you met them, you realized you were in awe of them?
I've met George Carlin a couple of times. I've met and worked with the Smothers Brothers several times, and Joan Rivers. Um, I worked with George Carlin's the first comedian I ever saw live when I was about 15 years old. He was at the peak of his fame, and so I got to meet him. That was I was 15. I probably met him about 15 years, 18, 19 years later. I was in my 30s, and I met him in Vegas. And I was like, holy crap, this is the guy that I saw, and I'm standing here talking with him now. So that was pretty, I mean, just like, wow, full circle right there, full circle. Yeah.
You were mentioning a second ago, you said, you know, you can't complain too much, but what would you say is the hardest thing about being a comedian?
Now it's people being so critical about everything. It's really, these videos went crazy, right? And the amount of mean shit, can I say that on here? The mean shit people say on the comments. It's like, wow, really?
Yeah.
Just being mean. And I'm like, comedians have feelings.
Yeah.
And every comedian in the world's really trying to make everybody happy. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make people happy. And then when you see these people just rip you one, you're like, oh, wow, that's mean. That's hurtful. I don't think I deserve that. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's the nature of the world today. People sitting on their keyboard anonymously, just being mean.
Yeah.
So that's probably, I guess, that's right now. The other thing is now I have to create a bunch more material. That's really been, like, oh crap, everybody's seeing my material now, and I'm kind of in a position right now. I've been doing this full time for 32 years, and mostly when I come out on stage at night, people don't know who I am. They haven't seen me before, and I have to prove myself every night. And so I get to do this material that I've worked on for a long time. And now all of a sudden they've seen the material. And I'm like, whoa, this is different because they've seen the material now. And it's not getting the response. But that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I think, oh, I got to create some more material.
What is it like when you have a tough crowd?
The biggest thing is you don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. That's a hard thing to learn too. It takes a lot of repetitions. Because you can go out on stage and go, wow, this audience is stiff. And you've seen it before if you've ever been to an open mic, or you see a comedian go up that's pretty new and they're not doing very well, and you can see them get uncomfortable. And as soon as the audience senses that the comedian's uncomfortable, oh, it's an ugly cycle of, you know what I mean? Because they feel uncomfortable and he feels uncomfortable. And I've had them before where the audience is a little stiff, and you just have to act like this is the best show you've ever had. And the audience might be sitting there going, boy, this guy's not getting many laughs, but he seems to be having a good time. And if you as a performer, no, I know this material's good. I know it's good. It works all the time. I know it's good. Keep selling it like you think you're killing. And the audience first they'll giggle, and then they'll snicker, and then they'll laugh, and then it may take 10 or 12 minutes. But it takes a long time to get confidence to go, just don't panic, don't panic, don't panic. You know what I mean? Wow. It takes a long time.
Well, what's the best compliment someone's given you?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. The best compliment. You know what? People come up all the time afterwards and tell you they've had a death in the family, or they've been through chemo, or, and they tell you, I really needed a laugh. And that's, to me, a really a compliment. Like, wow. Because you think, I'm making these people laugh for an hour. You know what I mean? It's a wonderful experience. But when somebody tells you that they really needed that, they've been down and they haven't laughed in a couple of months, boy, you think, wow, maybe I'm doing some good work here. That's probably the best compliment.
Do you have any kind of, I guess you could say, goals right now in terms of like something you're aspiring or something that you're going out for?
Well, you know what? It's kind of funny. 2018 was the first year after 32 years in comedy that I conscientiously decided to work less. I'm just going to work less. I don't need to anymore. I had a nice resume before these videos went crazy, right? And all of a sudden I got these videos went crazy. All of a sudden I'm in demand. People want me to come everywhere, and I'm getting to work bigger venues and nicer, little theaters and things like that. I'm like, well, I better go out and do a grab while I can. But that was kind of odd as far as suddenly not having any goals. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to cut back a little bit. And now all of a sudden, I'm supposed to find out in the next few days if I'm doing America's Got Talent this spring.
Okay.
So if all of a sudden I'm on America's Got Talent for a few weeks, then bang, my exposure goes up again.
Yeah.
But as far as goal stuff right now, I mean, it was funny when these videos went viral, went crazy. I had all these comedians. This is what you need to do. You need to do this on your social media, do this and this. I go, I'm 62. There's no 10-year plan for me. What's my 10-year plan? I don't have a 10-year plan. If I was 40 or 35, there'd be a 10-year plan, but I'm 62 years old. It's really, I said it in the car, earlier, it's been a nice validation.
Yeah.
At the end of my career, kind of, all of a sudden, all these people going, oh, you're the greatest thing I've ever seen. I go, I've been out here for a long time.
Where have you been?
Yeah.
One of the things about what you do is you get to travel,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm curious to know from a comedian standpoint, not just the location, but what is a place that you love to go as a comedian?
That I did go to, or?
Yeah.
I went to Karachi, Pakistan about 12, 13 months ago, and which isn't a place, it's not a place you go to for vacation. But the fact that I went to Karachi, Pakistan and performed for Pakistanis, you know what I mean? That was just nuts. I've performed in Israel and Australia and Singapore and Macau and Hong Kong. And then on cruise ships, those are for people in those areas. On cruise ships, you fly all over the world, get on a ship, and you're performing mostly to Americans because whatever cruise you're on.
Mm-hmm.
But those things have taken me all over the world.
Wow. So, what would you say to anybody who's watching this or listening to
Mm-hmm.
this? Totally open-ended.
I was telling you this earlier. How many good comedians are out there? There's a bunch of good comedians, guys that have done. I've been doing comedy full-time for 32 years. There's a whole bunch of guys in this country that have been doing comedy 20, 25, 30, 35 years. They work all the time. They kill in front of every audience. They don't necessarily live in LA or New York. They might be based in Seattle or Denver or Columbus or Detroit. And they work all the time, and they're great comics. They're great comics. You got to seek them out and try and find them. Dwight Slade is a great comic. Gabe Rutledge, Kermit Apio, David Crow, Willie Farrell, Louis Johnson, Phil Palisol. Those are all great comics that aren't, they're not everyday names, but they're great comics.
You look at comedy as almost like a brotherhood.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of weird. It's kind of cool in comedy. I mean, there's guys that literally have walked away from a career in medicine, and there's ex-felons, and they're all hang out together, and it's kind of cool when you're sitting with a bunch of comics that are so different. Their backgrounds can be so different, but you have that one comic brotherhood, that commonality between you. And man, when comics get together, oh, they're so rude and nasty to each other. Just say things that would get you fired and never, you know what I mean? That's the one thing among comedians, is how mean we are.
Why is that?
Just, it's not mean. It's just busting each other's balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You know how you, and the fact that you're comics, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everyone out there, they can visit bradupton.com.
That's it.
UPTON.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for
Thank you. I
spending the
appreciate
time.
it. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right.
Ba ba doodly beep bop ba dee da, dee bumpity boo, rapati kanaza jip pop, kill, I can not get a bond of good. But this is yeah, hunger. I guess I get back in the eat dog. I got the ing I don't get a lang a boy. I can't go. Oh, goodbye.